Did you know that one of the greatest football players of all time was selected with the 199th pick of the NFL Draft? That's pretty late. The NFL Draft allows NFL teams to pick from the best college players. The draft can make or break the careers of football teams and their general managers, with many eventually losing their jobs due to poor draft choices or raising the Lombardi Trophy when they nail their picks. The best, and maybe the luckiest, find a diamond in the rough that helps cement their team's future for years to come, bringing fans to the seats and eyes on the TV while their draft picks excel well beyond expectations. We've researched and enjoyed many years of NFL greatness and present to you the all-time biggest NFL draft steals. These are the players we believe to have made the biggest impacts on their teams and the sport of football, who weren't quite the kinds of players who received lots of media attention and fanfare on draft day. Some were even thought to be poor picks at the time. You'll need to watch to the end to learn the fascinating details about your favorite football players who flew under the radar but ultimately achieved greatness. Join us and see which players, old and new, become idols of the sport after being underestimated. In all fairness, Aaron Rodgers was still a first-round pick when he was drafted in 2005, but he fell a long way in the draft down to 24th. While sitting in the green room, it felt like watching a train wreck where you want to look away, but can't help to watch. Rodgers wanted the 49ers to draft him, having grown up in the area and enjoying watching the 49ers dominate in the late 80s and 90s. On draft day, he even said that he is not as disappointed as the 49ers will be that they didn't draft me, which roughly sounds like something that Rodgers is cocky enough to say. He wasn't wrong though. While Rodgers' record in the NFC title game is a rather harsh 1-4, he still played in and won a Super Bowl when he was also named Super Bowl MVP, along with winning 4 NFL MVP awards. For his career accomplishments across multiple decades and the fear he drove into the hearts of NFC North fans, he should have gone higher on the draft board and is definitely a steal. Some consider Terrell Davis the greatest running back in Denver Broncos history. The team paid very little draft capital at the 196th overall pick. Davis burst onto the scene in Denver, rushing for over 1,000 yards in his rookie year. Throughout his career, Davis earned a spot on the first-team All-Pro 3 times, won a Super Bowl 32 MVP and League MVP award in 1998 when he rushed for over 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns, along with being a key figure in helping the Broncos win back-to-back NFL titles. Davis was also inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in 2017, which he earned over a relatively short career of 7 years compared to other Hall of Famers. Some even credit Davis as the key to helping John Elway win Super Bowls, as he put up big numbers of 100 or more yards and multiple touchdowns in playoff games, including 3 touchdowns against the Packers. While Davis's low draft pick alone makes him a steal, his outstanding playoff performance makes him one of the biggest steals of all time. Number 8. Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was selected in the 3rd round at 95th overall by the New Orleans Saints. Part of the reason why Graham fell in the draft is because he played more basketball than football at the University of Miami. In his single season of college football, he managed 17 catches for 215 yards and 5 touchdowns. Given his ratio of catches to touchdowns, the Saints could certainly see him as a red zone target.
Target locked.
But Graham became so much more than just a red zone target. He became one of the most dynamic targets in the entire NFL. In only 5 years for the Saints, he averaged almost 80 receptions and totaled 4,752 receiving yards along with 50 touchdowns. The 2013 season was his most iconic. Graham ended the year with 1,215 receiving yards and league-leading 16 receiving touchdowns, which ranks second all-time for a tight end in a single season. This earned him first-team All-Pro honors and ranking him the 10th best player by his fellow players. While Graham was drafted right after the Saints won the 2009-2010 Super Bowl, he still fits well into the all-time draft steals for his red zone dominance. He was traded to the Seattle Seahawks in 2015 and never was able to capture the magic he had with Drew Brees in New Orleans. You probably haven't heard of Jesse Sapolu unless you follow the 49ers or are a fan of an NFC West team. Sapolu entered the NFL as an 11th round pick in 1983, in the same draft as legends like Darryl Green, Dan Marino, Eric Dickerson, and Jim Kelly. As a center, Sapolu didn't have the same fanfare as those names, but he helped the 49ers earn 4 Super Bowl titles and played 183 games, all for the 49ers. The 49ers also love Sapolu for his ability to play center and guard, which is an outstanding skill set when not many players thrive at multiple offensive line positions. Let's go back in time a bit to the 1953 NFL Draft. The New York Giants selected Roosevelt Brown as the 321st overall pick, keeping in mind that the NFL Draft had fewer teams and more rounds in 1953. Brown was a key piece of the Giants' offensive line, so his personal stats don't scream draft steal in themselves, but a strong running game with holes opened by Brown led the Giants to 6 NFL championship games with 1 victory and a 1975 Hall of Fame enshrinement. Fun fact about Brown and the Hall of Fame too. Brown was only the second player elected to the Hall of Fame just for his contributions to the offensive line. Many times, when a quarterback leads a team to a college football national championship and wins, they're drafted pretty high the following years. Not so for Joe Montana. For some reason, only the 49ers saw Montana's potential and drafted him as the 82nd overall pick, 4th quarterback overall, with only the Giants' Phil Simms achieving anything close to the same success. So, how did Joe Montana get on our list? Let's start with winning 4 Super Bowls without losing a single one, earning Super Bowl MVP 3 times, and a 2000 Pro Football Hall of Fame entry. Montana. He also ranked 4th in career passing yards when he retired, with just over 40,000 and 273 touchdowns. Number 4. Johnny Unitas. Johnny Unitas was selected later in the 1955 draft in the 9th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was cut from the Steelers before throwing a professional pass, but he kept trying and was later picked up by the Baltimore Colts. Unitas stepped into the starting quarterback spot after a key injury and never looked back. 18 seasons later, he had set records for the longest consecutive streak of games with a touchdown pass, 4 NFL titles, and 3 MVPs. Thanks to Drew Brees, Unitas' touchdown streak is no longer the longest ever, but it stood for over 50 years and across multiple eras. Number 3. Roger Staubach. Staubach was selected in the 10th round of the 1964 NFL Draft by the Dallas Cowboys. It's believed that Staubach fell in the draft because he had served 4 years of military duty, so at age 27, he was older than the average fresh-out-of-college pick. He also didn't get to start for another 2 years. When he did get a chance to start, he showed he was the steal the Cowboys were looking for. Staubach led the Cowboys to 4 Super Bowls and won 2, including an MVP. Staubach's abilities also led to the Cowboys being heralded as America's team as they were dominant in the era. Number 2. Russell Wilson. The Seattle Seahawks selected Russell Wilson in the 3rd round of the 2012 draft. He would say that they did pretty well with their selection as he led the Seahawks to consecutive Super Bowl appearances, with a victory in one and a profoundly well-known goal line loss in the other. Wilson remains one of the best dual-threat running and throwing quarterbacks ever, and more impressively, much of his success came early in his career. Number 1. Tom Brady. Tom Brady was far from a sought-after pick in the 2000 NFL Draft. He went at pick 199 out of the University of Michigan. The Patriots didn't need a quarterback, with Drew Bledsoe playing well. Brady only stepped in when Bledsoe got hurt. The rest is history. 10 Super Bowl appearances later, Brady won 7 Super Bowl titles in his 23 seasons with the Patriots and Buccaneers. Brady also won Super Bowl MVPs 5 times. Without even going into specific stats, Tom Brady showed greatest of all-time value for a late-round pick.